I would say actually, I think the most difficult type of feedback that I think I've received and not always internalized well is, I think actually with Joel, sort of like as in the co-founder dynamic where we sort of on an ongoing basis provide feedback to each other. And I think the most difficult feedback for me to receive is feedback that addresses certain strengths that I have where my strengths aren't always a good thing, right? And so I want to be more specific. So, one of the things that I think I have a certain, I'm defaulting to is like to try and knock out a large number of tasks or like be as efficient as I can be. And it can be a good thing to some extent, like, that helps us get stuff done. But that can also, create certain pressure, a certain pushiness, a certain, I would even say like sometimes like aggressive, sort of like, oh, we need to do this by tomorrow. And so like, I want to rally everybody. And it can go from this like motivational, like, oh yeah, we can make this happen. And even though it's a tight deadline or tight time frame, to like, wow, this feels like overwhelming or pressuring and so like, I'm not skilled enough to always be on the good side of things where I know like, actually this would be overstepping right now. I shouldn't do that. And so when Joel shares some of those things with me and says like, by the way, this point, I think it didn't make that person feel good. I think that person felt like they were overwhelmed and, they weren't having a good time. Is I have to like really sit with it for a second because I'm like, because in my brain, I have saved this behavior as like equals good. It's like, helps us do good things. Like this helps us accomplish, this helps us grow, this helps us to, and so when I then get feedback, so like that is like this behavior is sometimes not that good or not that useful, I have to sort of wrangle with myself, right? Like if it's very easy for me to receive feedback if I like, if I've said something that's, that's maybe like been negative, it's like, oh yeah, I totally get it. Like I have not saved that behavior in my head as equals good. But, and so that's what takes me a while. And like, I think I'm very grateful that, Joel sticks with me where I'm sometimes a bit defensive. Where I'm like, oh, but we needed to do this, or we needed to get there this quickly. So, I think this is what I had to do. And he's like, he bears with me and we work through it. But that's usually the sticking points. And I think there is this balance in there where, quality and quantity, like they are in balance. So like, it's also part of me doesn't want to like get completely away from it. Again, it's like saved as like good. So that complicates things because oftentimes what we think with feedback is that we believe all of our behavior is negated, right? It's like, what I'm hearing, even though that person isn't saying that at all, what I'm hearing is like, never do that, never move fast, never ship things quickly, right? But this is what I'm hearing sometimes. So I'm like, oh, but we have to. So like, when really the person's telling me, no. In this moment, this particular behavior, it felt like we could dial it down a little bit, right? So that's, I think, the one area where it's most difficult for me.